Across the United States, millions of people are taking to the streets under one banner: No Kings. The No Kings movement has become one of the largest pro-democracy demonstrations in U.S. history, spreading across 2,600 cities and towns, from New York and Washington, D.C. to small Midwest communities. The message? A call to protect democracy and limit presidential power, especially under President Donald Trump's second term. Organizers say the slogan, No Kings, draws straight from America's founding ideals, a reminder that the nation was built on rejecting monarchy. The movement argues that the U.S. government is showing signs of authoritarian drift, a slow shift toward too much executive control. Many protesters point to Trump's use of federal forces, deportation policies, and his push for expanded executive powers as examples of that trend. They also highlight ongoing issues like the government shutdown, now stretching past 2 weeks, leaving millions of federal employees unpaid. At the center of it all is the idea that no president, no matter who, should ever hold power above the people. This wave of protests builds on earlier rallies from June, when millions first marched nationwide under the same slogan. Since then, the No Kings coalition has grown, linking civil rights groups, labor unions, students, and educators who see this as a long-term fight for democracy, not just a one-day protest. In total, Harvard's crowd counting consortium estimates that between 3 and 5 million Americans joined previous marches, rivaling the 2017 Women's March in scale. The organizers say the movement is built around nonviolence and civic participation. They draw inspiration from something called the 3.5% rule, research showing that when 3.5% of a country's population engages in peaceful protest, political systems often change course. That's roughly 11 million people in the U.S., and the movement says they're aiming for that number through sustained civic engagement. The color yellow has become the symbol of the movement, linking it to global pro-democracy efforts in places like Hong Kong, Ukraine, and South Korea. Protesters across America wore yellow shirts, ribbons, and signs saying, No Kings and power belongs to the people. In Times Square, over 100,000 people filled the streets chanting, I pledge allegiance to no king. In Florida, even traditionally conservative towns saw thousands turn up, a sign that this message is crossing political lines. But not everyone supports it. Republican leaders have called the demonstrations partisan, with some labeling them as Hate America rallies. House Speaker Mike Johnson said the protests were anti-capitalist, while Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent commented, No Kings means no paychecks, referencing the ongoing shutdown. Meanwhile, Democratic leaders like Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders defended the protests, calling them a Love America rally, one focused on protecting the Constitution and civil liberties. Sanders wrote, Millions are showing up because they believe in American freedom and will not let authoritarianism take hold. The protests also drew celebrity support. Actor Robert De Niro appeared in a video message saying, We're rising up again, nonviolently, to declare, No Kings. Organizers stress this isn't just anti-Trump, it's a movement for democratic accountability, term limits, and checks on executive power. They say it's about reminding America that leadership is a service, not a throne. Still, the protests are testing the country's political climate. National Guard units have been deployed in some states to ensure safety, and organizers have trained volunteers in de-escalation and Know Your Rights briefings to keep everything peaceful. At its core, the No Kings movement is about something bigger than politics. It's about the soul of American democracy, about whether the principles that started the nation can still hold strong when tested. Comment what you think about this. If you like the video, then don't forget to subscribe, it really motivates us to create helpful videos.